I think it's cool, but I'm also like totally intimidated by the amount of shit going on. You know what I mean?
Recording has started. Welcome to session 22. This is going to be an interesting session, as we are in a kind of a panic mode from the previous session. So in this session, it's going to be all hands on deck. You'll have all of your characters out, so everybody's in adventure mode. Nobody's going to school or doing any work. But before we get started, let's go ahead and handle events from the previous session. So first off, let's have everybody recount the previous session and what their character did to earn a character point.
Elros, with his connection with his tutor Cam, was able to find out that they needed to go visit two. There was like two ways to find out more about the visions that we were learning about, because we were learning about Mangra, the vision about Mangra, that one of our teammates had, and one of the ways was to go to the school to learn more information. We found out that there was a divination school, as well as there was another school there. And when we went through the vision, Elra stepped through out of the tavern, and he woke up being poured water on him because he was catching on fire. He also got information on a bard that we were able to go onto a boat to go see.
Very good. For catching on fire, you've earned a character point.
Immediately gonna burn that character point.
And don't forget that your characters who were at school also earned an experience point. Who's next? Jackie, were you going to say something?
Yeah, give me one quick second. I can hardly remember what I did, but I feel like I was part of the group that wasn't in the psychic vision room and alerted a teacher. I was like, "Hey, this is kind of what they're doing right now," and they were like, "Oh shit, we should probably go check on them." I want to say that's my most important contribution, besides generally being encouraging to my teammates.
Yes, as I recall, you went to the divination school, whereas the rest of them went to the enchantment school.
Yep.
And then I think you met somebody that's pretty special to
Oh,
you?
yes. I met an actual in the flesh Faith in Akbard. Looking very much forward to trying to get him to mentor me.
Radico, the bard,
Yes.
who after this session will become available to you as a private tutor.
Nice.
But we got to get through this madness first. So go ahead and earn your character point and experience points for any kids who were at school. Who's next?
Do I need to do rolls for backs, or did I do that last time? I don't remember.
We don't do rolls.
Right, that's right.
At the end of session, we do rolls at the beginning. So if Bax has rolls to do, then we need to do those rolls.
I was at the Crimson Academy that session for that character, so I just don't know what I need to do. It's just, I guess, another sword training thing.
Probably, yeah. That's probably a good idea for Bax. Bax does have a lot of those fitness tokens banked up.
I sure do. I think I'll go for a basic sword drill.
Are you going to spend any experience points before you make the roll?
No.
All right, then.
I guess the rolling is case sensitive. My bad. Oh my
Caps on
god, crushed.
Keon.
Crushed.
Oh
it.
yeah, crushed it. Do you have the sheet open?
Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead and update your merits totals. Alrighty. Who's next?
I can jump in. So we were trying to investigate Mangra's future vision. So Zara tried to kind of sketch what she saw and was able to sketch some clothing. She was also able to kind of perform the song that Mangra was singing. And eventually we ended up heading to the university. Zara was with the crew that went with to the enchantment school with Elroth and Nest. We met someone who helped Zara kind of see her vision more clearly. Um, and at that point, Elroth walks outside of the bar in the vision, and that didn't bode so well for Elroth in the physical realm because he burst into flames. Um, and yeah, then after that, we kind of went to Miss Maybell to kind of like see if she had any info on the vision, and we learned that that person in the vision was probably Mangra's mom. And eventually, we ended up someone constructed a boat, and we ended up going out to visit this psychic out in the harbor, who helped Zara commune with Mangra's mom. And we learned more. We learned basically that they were running out of water. They've got like probably 7 days of water before they're all going to die. And so Mangra kind of warns her, and then I actually can't remember if we told anyone yet at this point, or if we were, if that's something we need to do in this session. But yeah, at that point we know like we want to try and help.
Oh yeah, we went to go see Delterra. Delterra's out of commission, but we did notify adults about the situation.
Okay, cool. Yep. The
Yeah.
adults know, which is good because this is not a mission for kids.
There's grown-ups on the scene.
Testing?
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
I still have not gotten the sheets to load, but Discord was having issues too.
Okay. Well, let me know if there's anything you need me to alter. I do have access to everything from here.
I was going to say, the only thing that I think would help is fixing my internet, but that's not on the card.
That is beyond my powers.
If Dave had that power, he would have employed it a long time ago for you, I'm sure.
As the game master, I hereby declare that your internet is fixed. It's now canon to the story. Did that work? Did it do anything?
For what it's worth, the sheet's loaded this time.
GM powers activate. All right.
Alright.
Kristen, take your character point. Do you need to make any rolls for any of your characters?
Yeah, I honestly need to take notes on what I need to do with each character, but I think I just roll. So I know what I need to do for Henri. He was at the Thieves' Den, the Fox Den, and so he'll get the XP for that, but then also he needs to do a roll to see if he earned any money.
No, you have a choice. You can either get your XP or you can roll to try and earn some money. Not both.
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. And then I believe I rolled correctly. So a skill and an aptitude based on the style of the den. So I kind of just looked at the Fox's Den and rolled based on a skill and an aptitude. So I think I got 3 successes. So
if you had been trying to earn money, you would have. But yeah, it's up to you. Do you want to earn money or do you want to get the experience point?
I feel like I might as well earn money because Henri is broke after all of our shopping excursions.
And as you've seen, money can be very powerful.
Yeah, so what kind of coin does that earn?
What does it say in the Thieves Guild document?
So it says 3 to 5 successes earn 1 coin.
Okay,
So is that a valuable
that's
coin?
a valuable coin. Yep.
Cool. All right, I'll do a little homework to find out if I need to do anything for my other characters. But you can move on to the next person.
Okay. Who's next?
So Sherry tagged along to the Mage Academy in a trench coat, I think, and saw Tice's character light on fire. Otherwise, helped out with that. Then we went to we got a boat, and we took the boat to another boat, and we talked to a guy on another boat, and that's pretty much where it was.
That is pretty much Shari's experience for that whole thing. It was very, very good, though, that you had somebody who could boat at the end of that. All right, to have your character point, do Reggie and Mari need to make any rolls?
No.
Very good. Who's next?
Nest went along with the figure out this future sight thing because Nest is also naturally quite interested in figuring out other people's future sight as well as their own. And went to a dream sequence, and I believe was the one who put it together that we were actually talking about Magra's mom and not Magra. And that was kind of Nest's shining moment there. And now is spending the night, I guess, with the adults who are preparing for this extraction mission in an observer capacity.
Yes, that is correct. And we're going to get to that in a moment. Go ahead and take your character point. Do you need to make any rolls or anything for any of your other characters?
Nope, both Wapi and Araxi were just pumping iron in the orphanage.
Nice. Getting that vigor up. Alrighty, I think there's still 2 people left. No, one left. Just one. I can count, I swear.
Is my mic working?
It is, yes.
Sweet. Okay, so Mina's accounting. I believe I was part of the trench coat. If that did indeed happen, but I was part of the trench coat to sneak in, and didn't make any waves. And then at some point, yes, we found a boat, and it was too small and dingy, a dingy dinghy. And so I took my learnings over the past so many days. I guess we're measuring in days. After so many days, and it heavily increased the seating to make it kind of way too big. So now there's a large boat. I still don't know what the name of the boat is, so we'll see.
Every boat does need a name. Go ahead and take your character point. Do you need to make any rolls for any of your other characters?
Christazar was at Crimson Academy, so he needs to do those. I'm gonna do fitness merit.
Okay. Tice, the homeless priest can help you raise your potential, but doesn't know anything other than that. It's a con man who knows enough about the Kaolite philosophy to teach you about the sort of the lying as a form of magic. But that's it.
Okay.
Did not do any. Or I failed twice.
Aren't there 3 rolls?
I don't have enough to even try the last one.
Okay. Remember, though, the fact that you tried means you can put experience points into those things.
True.
The fitness course teaches many wonderful things. Alrighty then. So, yeah, when last we left off, of course, 2 of the kids were staying overnight. So, Nest and Zara. You guys did not get a chance to sleep this night, so you're tired. You didn't have an opportunity to restore any tax or to move tax around. You're kind of stuck where you're at, and to make matters worse, the adults around you have been treating you as adults, which is to say that. Because you have unique abilities that they don't have, unlike many places in the world where you would be teased or shunned or somehow become an outcast because of that, here in the Celebran Arcane University, these are considered virtuous things, to have skills and abilities that others do not, and to share them is, part of what they do, so they're actually treating you with a great deal of respect, but that also means that their filter is off. They're not controlling for language. When they get frustrated, they're cursing. They're getting frustrated a lot, and they're not doing much to soothe you as children over the mortal peril that Mangro's mother is in right now. You found out about it, but you were using a vision from 7 days ago, and at the time she had a little more than 7 days worth of water left, and her group was considering using some of that water to go out on a sort of mission outside of the secure area they were in to look for more water to bring back. That's a risk, of course, because if they did that and they didn't find water, then they had less than 7 days and they are possibly already dead. And at the moment, you guys don't have a way of checking on that. So with the stress of all of that, and with the adults in that area not really treating you as any different from themselves, both of you have 3 attacks of composure coming at you. This is not a single event. This is 3 separate stressful events. So if you have other things you might use to redirect that composure damage, you may.
Was it 3?
3 in total, yeah.
I
Just as
believe that the only thing I have is I just have a huge bank of composure rather than a way to mitigate it.
That works, yeah. Nest is a very composed individual, so this is, while it is stressful, it's not necessarily, putting you on the ropes. How about Zara? How's Zara doing?
Is this only going to composure, or are there other areas I can go in?
If you can give me a decent narration for something else that you're doing, that would put it somewhere else, such as if you have an item that you can damage to release stress, or if what do you got? What are your ideas?
Yeah, let me think a bit. Maybe if there's I'm trying to think of some sort of physical activity that could let out stress. Like maybe she's kind of taking things out on something, I guess. So punching the pillows on the bed or whatever, just throwing a tantrum. But I don't know if that's
And you're straight up in a laboratory. There's dangerous equipment around. They've not child-proofed this area.
Yeah, maybe like she kind of throws a bit of a tantrum. She's younger, so like I could see her, accidentally like knocking some stuff over and then like accidentally getting cut by some broken glass or something like that. I don't know. I don't.
Okay. Three of these events have occurred that were stressful to you. Do you have a fit on all three?
um, I'm gonna go with one. By the way, the reason I'm doing this is Zara has three composure, so she's just knocked out.
But being at 0 doesn't mean you're knocked out. Being unable to pay attacks means you're knocked out.
Oh, got it. Yeah, mainly I was trying to spread a little bit over to her health. Uh,
That's fine.
yeah.
That's a good narration. She has, in a moment of extreme stress from being unable to summon the vision as easily as you wanted to, you lash out and cut yourself on some equipment.
Cool. Yeah, so just one to her health, two to the composure, so she has one out of three composure left.
Sounds good. I would also have accepted damaging your costume.
Mm. She cherishes that too much.
Fair enough. Okay. In the morning, Miss Mabel gathers everyone together and is taking the entire orphanage to the Arcane University. She gets all of you through security just by looking at them, with that kind of look that says, you burned one of my kids, and I'm not going to say that you burned one of my kids, but you know that you burned one of my kids, and don't you dare get in my way. And they relent and let you guys in. And what you discover is children sleeping in the halls in sleeping bags. Something's wrong with one of the dorm rooms, apparently. She escorts all of you to where Zara and Nest are. Zara and Nest, you guys are in this workshop. It's actually not in the main building, but you have to go through the main building to get to it. It's sort of in an area that's been built around, but they're afraid to disrupt the ground that it's on. It was this sort of shed that was being used for storage during construction, and then an eldritch entity blessed it to have perfectly balanced aether on the inside of the shed, and so no one dares take it apart. But it makes for a really good clean room for doing complicated magics. Arriving in there, you guys see that a piece of stone floor from somewhere else in the building has been carved out and carried here, and is lying on the floor with some teachers studying it. And then there's also a really crazy magnification system. Lots of lenses meant to make extremely large a very, very tiny thing. And there is a scrap of fabric that they are zooming in on, and it turns out that there is really, really tiny lettering on it that they're reading with this crazy magnification system. And then they've got some other basic stuff. They've got a mage's equivalent of a chalkboard for experimental notes and stuff. They've got a nice bed for Zara to lay down in to be more comfortable while doing the trance. And Nest, I guess there's a chair for you to sit in.
Nest hides like the small like flask of whiskey that they've caught their way into getting from one of the adults.
In this place, too, it's probably apple whiskey. There's a secret underground way of getting apple whiskey into the school.
Yeah. If they're going to treat you like an adult, they might as well give you something.
Okay. Miss Maybell, addresses the teacher, the head of the enchantment department, and says, "I understand that one of my children was lit on fire." And he's immediately apologizing and saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't think it would happen. It should have happened." And she says to him, "It's entirely possible that it's not your fault." And he's happy to clutch on this, like, yes, yes. And then she just waits. She says, "You'll get it. Just wait. You'll get it." Does anyone want to chime in? Okay. After a moment, he does kind of look up and go, "Oh, no, I didn't even think of that. Oh, my goodness." Just, yeah, right away, please. And he goes out and gets an expert in checking for the Aptian plagues. Ms. Maybell is concerned that Elros may have experienced the results of the Cinder Plague. And so each of you is going to be checked right now. Now, I can save a little bit of time. Some of these characters definitely don't have it. But I've got a little list here. And my list reads, Reggie, Shari, Bax, Leica, Francis, Chryslazar, Araxi, Zara, Andre, and Whampy. All of you guys played in the ash of a ruined building that burned down from cinder. So I'm going to need all of you to make a fortitude save. Or what do we call it? Is it the toughness one? What's the resistance? Yes, resist. So I need all of you to roll your resist, and for most of you, you only need one success to not have the plague. Shari, you played in the ash twice, so you need 2 successes.
What was that list? I don't know if we write it out.
So it is Reggie, Shari, Bax, Leica, Francis, Chryslazar, Araxi, Zara, Andre, and Whampy.
Can we add anything onto it, like cost for our costume, if there's a reason for it?
Nope.
Didn't think that's how it worked, but I could argue a reason for more. But
So I see 1 miss so far. Ed, which of your characters was that?
Sherry failed.
that is back. Well, that's tragic.
Like I need to roll for this?
Yes. Leica needs 1 success.
Can you remind me what I need to roll? Like what?
Resist.
Resist.
Ooh,
Dice for your resist.
Ooh, okay.
Was that like a and Bax? I thought I heard Bax, but I might.
Bax was not present unless.
Yeah, Bax is on that list. I have Bax.
Bax wasn't present for the shit, but.
It's the building Little Oak Bride.
Oh, okay. So that's a success for Leica then. And let me roll for back. Do I get to just roll anything else? It's just my resist?
Just your resist.
Oh god, yes.
All right. I think I have to do all my characters. So Henri. This one will be Francis. And Zara. Poor Zara.
Oof.
It had to be Zara.
Yeah.
Does Elros have to test for anything?
Elros' test comes back negative,
Okay.
which is unusual. That's weird, right? Because Elros is the one that burst into flames. It's fortunate that this test was done before any of the others burst into flames, but it's for some reason Elros's fiery moment had nothing to do with the cinder. It's something else.
Araxi's going to go, we need to test the others too, as Araxi fails the test. With no explanation as to who the others are.
Well, with so many positive results, Miss Maybell is definitely going to have the rest of the Oakbrine work crew tested. Okay, so let me make sure I've got... So both Araxi and Wampy tested positive, is that correct?
Correct.
And Kristen, which of your characters failed?
Sorry.
Zara, that's right. Okay. Okay, so 4 characters then have contracted Cinder. So Shari, Araxi, Wampy, and Zara are going to be spending the next couple sessions in the hospital in the cold area. Unfortunately, they can't be taken there right now because Zara is needed for a much more important mission. So right now they're just being kept away from flammable objects for the moment. The mages do have a magical cure for the Fade, but the best they have for Cinder is to stop the fires. The plague itself just has to run its course. Alrighty. With all of you kids here in the school now, is there anything anyone wants to do? And I can give you a basic rundown of what the adults are trying to do. The adults are trying to figure out how to cast a teleport spell. They've been trying to reach Inarian mages, but the mages are apparently dealing with something else back in Anar. They're not clear on what. But the mages here do know that Delterra was very good at teleports, and so they have dug up a piece of the dorm room she used to sleep in, where she cast a teleport spell once, and brought it here for study. And they've also taken her sash that Anar gave her when she was awarded her her doctoral thesis on enabling humans to cast higher level spells. And included in that thesis is descriptions on how she was able to, as a human, cast a 7th circle teleport without error spell, which apparently she demonstrated live during her thesis defense. And without memorizing it. She demonstrated it improvisationally during her thesis defense. And so information may be on that thesis. The way Anar does their robes is they give you a little stripe that's actually the writing of your thesis in miniature across a sash. And so that sash is currently under a microscope being examined. And the piece of the dorm room floor has been excavated and brought here. Which is why a bunch of kids were out in sleeping bags out in the halls as the work crew was repairing the floor from having ripped up a place where 8 years ago Delterra improvised a teleport that got her out of the city. Also present are representatives from the Crimson Guard and the Thieves Guild. The representative from the Thieves Guild is not somebody that you guys are familiar with. It's somebody from a foreign department. Glup, you do recognize that this is probably a Wolf Clan person, but they're here specifically with tactical intel, maps, and trying to figure out where exactly they're going to try to teleport to if the mages can get the teleport up and running. Shari, Araxi, and Wampy, these teachers are keeping a fairly close eye on you. The rest of you have the run of the school. If there's anything you would like to accomplish while you're here.
I do have a question. Would having someone related, like, would having, I don't know if it would, how much could be if to have one of the cubs come here to help, like, basically, since it's their mother, that like they have a sort of maternal link, and apparently it's maybe a spiritual link that they've been able to use that the thing as sort of like maybe a spell to like to help better find out exactly where they are.
Miss Maybell has been very careful not to tell the Cubs why they're here. She has told them that they're here just for a checkup because Elros was on fire, and she needs to make sure that nobody else is on fire. And even that is a little bit stressful for them because their brothers and sisters all died to Cinder. So as well as like the entire village and everyone they knew before they came to the orphanage. So being tested for Cinder makes them really worried, and it's doubly worried that 4 of their new friends at the orphanage have it. The fact that their mother is alive and might be about to die from dehydration in a desert at a moon impact site is not on the table at the moment. But you have a mouth, and there's very little anyone can do to stop you. So.
Well, not tell them, but like you could just tell them that they have a special project that need to get done, and like until we retrieve their mother, we can then we can tell them that they're helping get their mother back, which they maybe be super proud afterwards. But if we don't tell them first,
okay, I'm going to say that Nest, you can step away from Zara and the experiments to meet up with everyone. And see if you can figure out whether or not that's a good idea, given that the adults in that room have no filter right now.
Okay. Yeah, after everybody gets sort of tested, I'm going to try, like, usher the kids, like, maybe to the room over, where they can't overhear everything. Yeah, Wampy, by the way, is off in the corner trying to solve this conundrum of how Elros didn't light on fire, or didn't test positive for Cinder after lighting on fire. Also of note, I believe we agreed that the halfling triplets, they also lost their family to Cinder. So this is probably quite a big deal that Wampy is tested.
Yeah, it would be pretty terrifying. Yeah.
Wampy weirdly is okay with that. I imagine that Trumpy and Francis are struggling a little more. But yeah, that's going to take them off to a side room, and based off of what I've overheard, do they know the location of where they're going, trying to teleport to?
So they are working on that, and they've got some really good ideas. They've been spent the whole night, so the past 8 hours, basically, they have been nonstop going into Zara's memories and looking at clues and comparing them to intelligence reports that they have from fields to try and figure out which of the various surrounding villages. Zara's pretty taxed out, so they're not able to do two-way communication the way Zara was when she got supercharged by the Faith and Ak bard.
Weird question. Do Skull have fur?
Yes.
Okay. Nest is going to, as we get over, hand Glup, I think, would be best for this, a pair of scissors. And say, whisper in Glup's ear, don't say anything, I need some of Magra's fur, and I don't want Magra to know.
Okay.
And then to distract Magra, Nest is going to do, as Nest has done in the past, pick up Magra and just softly, sing their song, the owl song, to try and calm Magra down and have Magra focused on Nest.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a performance plus empathy check to see if you can calm Magra down.
Can I argue that this is an overall leadership check? Because I am basically organizing a scheme.
You're organizing a scheme. Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so if you're doing a leadership test, then you're testing to see how well organized your scheme is. Not necessarily how calm Mangra is going to be.
What would like the impact of what when you say that? Am I making sure that everything goes according to plan, and
generating helper dice and helper
for
pips for somebody who's going to be executing your plan?
Yeah, I think that Glub is our stealthiest kid, right?
I think so. I think Glub has been built into a kind of uber thief.
I feel like of all the kids here, I think Glub is the most qualified to snip a bit of Magra's fur. Alright, that's a leadership role.
Okay. It's a good plan, so I'm going to say that is that's more than helpful. That's actually a useful plan. Who's going to do the distracting while Glup does the snipping?
Nest cannot sing for once.
I don't have any characters that have performance.
Do you have any characters that have really good empathy?
Really good's probably a stretch.
Henri is a relatively good performer. His acts of trying to distract people so that he can steal things from them. So, this is pretty relevant, I suppose.
Walpy is a decent performer, but Walpy's distracted.
Yeah. Trying to think what kind of performance he might do.
Can, medicine be argued for soothing?
Are you trying to... I mean, the goal is to distract her, so you could distract her and cause more psychological scarring.
I'll try with Leica with the empathy of 2 to see if I can help.
I'm thinking of, Henri could try and do, a sleight of hand kind of magic trick kind of thing to try and, entertain Mangra to get...
0 successes.
Oh, yeah. So, I could do that if you guys think that'll help.
There's also, they've been very fanatic about being mobsters. You could do a little mobster scene.
That's clever. Okay. Andre, did you you want to do play mobster with Mangra?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Give me a little narration of what you're going to say while you're distracting her, and then make your roll. You've got 3 helper dice to help you with this, as does Glup.
Is Glup also part of the mobster thing?
No, Glup is going to sneak up behind her and snip off a piece of her hair.
Got it. Yeah.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I'm confused as far as how this will help her.
Okay, so we are trying to help Magra. Nast's plan is to use this to help them find where they are. Because we would have something that's connected, at least generationally, to the mother, which can then be possibly magically used to help pinpoint a location. That's the plan.
Yeah. So my goal, what I'm trying to do is actually keep Mangra still, because we're trying to cut hair off of her without hurting her. And so I think Henri will actually just do the sleight of hand kind of magic trick sort of thing. He just earned a valuable coin, so he's got a coin on him. So he's going to kind of like be like flipping that around and like having it kind of disappear and then like pulling it out from behind her ear, kind of just doing just various sleight of hand sort of stuff that hopefully would be entertaining to Mangra.
Another thing that of note, uh, I think that this is something Nest would know and probably whisper in your ear. Magra is less likely to be noticed being snipped if she is like if you're like actually touch her face or something while
Maybe oh, it came from your ear, kind of a thing, you know?
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like that moment where I'm like going behind the ear to grab it from behind the ear. I'll definitely be making contact with her at that point. So that's probably the point where Glup can come in and snip some hair
Nest
off.
is a teenager who grew up in Sleep, right? Nest knows basic thief knowledge. Sure.
Alrighty. This sounds like an excellent plan. And for using the coin, I will let you take an extra pip.
Next. Would this kind of be a cunning sort of thing?
Yeah. You've moved away from song, and now you're definitely into performance plus cunning. This is a distraction. You still got 3 bonus dice from the leadership roll.
And those are actually they're dice.
Yeah, they're dice this time.
Sweet.
When the way I do it is I do them as pips if they're helpful, dice if they're useful, and successes if they're actually doing the job. And in this case, the organization of this plan was very useful. This was more than just helpful. It was, yeah. Okay, Mangra is well and truly distracted. Tice, go ahead and make your roll. We'll see if it all adds up. I believe you're doing crime plus agility, Tess?
All right. Yeah, even one more dice. I was going to do stealth, but yeah, crime works well.
Fantastic.
I'm going to leave a little G in the back of her head.
And now Mangra's going to make a perception plus investigation check to see if she notices. She does not. Congratulations, you successfully fooled a 5-year-old.
It only took 3 of us. Nest is going to pick up the hair and slip out of the room and back to the adults.
Okay.
Nest is very much trying to act like an adult right now.
Yeah,
They're an older kid. They can sort of pass off for one. You know, as long as they keep their don't break down. They should be able to pass off as like a young adult prodigy or something.
And your treatment in this room is very different from everywhere else you've ever been. These mages are... There's always been this thing about magic, which is that because the gatekeeper to it is the cantrip, people learn the cantrip at all ages. And so ageism within the magic community really isn't a thing. You cast the cantrip when you're 8 years old, or you cast the cantrip when you're 80 years old. You just cast a cantrip, and you're starting at the beginning, and then you proceed. So yeah, they are treating you as a grown-up for all the good that does. And yeah, they're like, that is a brilliant idea. Like, this is from her daughter, you say? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe
the daughter.
So most of them keep doing what they're doing, but a couple of them break off and be like, maybe we can modify the targeting portion of the spell to like magnetize towards some kind of like formic resonance. If like is this fur going to be on the same frequency as the mother's fur? And they start talking in some magical technobabble that is a couple circles of magic above your head at the moment.
That does say they do seem to have a connection. They also have a song that like supposedly can connect each other, as far as I've been told. Over the moon. It's I'm trying to figure out how Nest understands this right now. Basically, what happens is that if one sings a song, the other is supposed to be able to. It's supposed to be able to travel to the other.
Oh, kind of like a whisper spell. Interesting.
Almost like that, but it's some skull thing. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Gestures, not a skull.
Like, is the daughter here where you can talk to her about it?
The daughter is very stressed out.
I see.
Can talk. Why don't I go get Miss Mabel in?
Okay.
We could talk about how to do this without stressing out the daughter even more, because I think that would just send all the frequencies off the wrong way.
So you go and get Miss Mabel, which effectively locks down Miss Mabel. She's going to be stuck in that room explaining that for a while, reducing the supervision even further. It'll probably take them a couple hours to completely grasp that the song was made up. It doesn't have any magical abilities.
Oh, it was.
It's something Miss Mabel came up with to make them feel comfortable, and has no magic powers whatsoever. But it's going to take them an hour to get to that point. So
It is something that Nest understood to be real.
And Mangra understands it to be real too, and they don't want to take that away from her.
Can I have Nest make a roll to maybe figure it out along the way that it's not real in this miscommunication?
Sure, yeah. What do you want to make for that roll?
So Nest is mostly listening. This would probably be empathy plus. Can I do this as empathy plus scholarship in figuring out that the magic doesn't work?
Yes.
The more that they explain. But
Yeah, you can. That's a good use of scholarship.
that's 3 successes. So I've still bought the kids enough time to do whatever they want, but hopefully I haven't wasted too much time.
Right on. Shifting focus a little bit, Ed, you've got some characters here. Do any of them want to branch out into the school and do anything while they're here?
Well, I mean, Reggie's happy he doesn't have Cinder. And it's his first time in the school. So he doesn't want to do anything specific because he's afraid he might catch fire or something.
Those are very rational concerns.
Yeah.
There is a library that is just massive and full of raw information that Reggie could explore.
Okay, Reggie and Mario will go into the library. Mario can show him around a bit. Reggie will be looking for, I don't know, legal books, we'll say. There's not
Okay.
legislation going on here, but he can kind of look around.
Did they want to do anything relevant to rescuing Mangra's mother, or is this just their own separate little adventure? I will tell you that if they don't help, then they could treat this as a day at school and have access to things that they can learn that they don't normally have access to.
Reggie feels bad about Mangra's mother, but isn't clear on how he could help. He can't really legislate that way. Also, she's really far off, right? So
She's very far off. It seems like the adults are putting adult-level competence on the task. The government is in here because, obviously, as an operative who got to be pretty much next to the moon landing and survive, she probably has super valuable intel. So all efforts are being put towards this. There's nothing that they're missing, except, of course, that they haven't figured it out yet. But, like I said, big library, and if Reggie wants to level up any knowledge or skills that are normally not available to him, this is a great opportunity.
Do we believe the adults know, like, roughly or exactly where she is?
So, what they've figured out so far is that they have a pretty good idea where the moon landed, because it would be centered directly on the city. They have a pretty good idea of the size of the moon, and they have Elros's description of how big it looked when he stuck his head out the window before he burst into flames. There's a few things that they're trying to go on to try and figure out which of the settlements that would be at that distance might be the one that they should be targeting. They're having the sort of like reviews of the landmarks that are visible without actually leaving the building. But all of it is from a memory, so they can't be sure that it's precise. Especially since it's a 7-day-old memory. And Zara's powers are pretty tapped out right now. She's not going to be able to reconnect directly to the vision the way that she did yesterday. At least not until it's her turn to try to start making some rolls and taxing stuff. We'll see.
Well, so Reggie's just going to assist whoever else needs to discover something. Mari can assist with people who are looking for documentation. She knows the library pretty well. So if they need maps or anything else, she can find them or help find them efficiently.
Okay. The other thing, too, is that there is an expert on teleportation magic who is unconscious in her bedroom in the upper floors. That may also be outside of Reggie's wheelhouse, but...
Outside of Reggie's wheelhouse, Mary could probably do some medicine rolls, but she's not very good at medicine. She just had a summer with the herbalist, so... yeah.
Cool. Your characters are then available to help others as we go through.
Yep.
Jackie, did any of your characters want to go off and do something in this moment of unsupervised freedom?
I guess I just don't. I'm in a similar boat to Reggie insofar as like I shot my shot. We're trying to comfort Mangra, and that's all I can really think of. My other characters are, I mean, like Trumpy's a scholarly type of character, so if they can make any roles in regards to that, I'll give that a shot. But as far as Bax goes, Bax is about punching stuff and doing push-ups and saying I'm a great hero. So.
And Crimson Guard representatives are here right now. Like, high up members are here. And so, like, Bax can probably just go stand next to them and feel cool by association.
I mean, I'm down. As far as what Trumpy can do, is there anything Trumpy can contribute in terms of trying to research teleportation? I mean, I don't even know if I can contribute meaningfully in this way, but I'll give it a shot.
It's a little frustrating as kids that, like, this problem feels so massive. And even the grown-ups are struggling with it. These are supposed to be the people that are in charge and have everything together. And it's stressful. Like, Mangra's mother's life is on the line. No one can even figure out if she's still alive, since the information is 7 days old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to make a focus and scholarship role to assist in any way that I can. As far as Bax goes, I guess she'll go hang out with the Crimson Guard.
Okay.
And maybe do some running around. Like, so if people need supplies or documents or whatever, Bax will contribute their labor to that.
Okay. If you did want to have Trumpy make a roll, let me know what that role is, like what you're actually trying to accomplish.
I don't know. I really
Okay,
don't
no
know
problem.
how to help. I've just got focus and scholarship, and I guess if I can assist the adults in processing information, I can do that.
They could use a runner to run and go find things from the library if you want to do
Fax
that.
can definitely do that then.
Okay.
I was thinking for the triplets, since Wampy came down with Cinder, that maybe we could be consoling them. Or I guess Wampy's not that phased by it, but
For a halfling, Wampy is remarkably composed.
I got 4 successes on that roll for Bax for doing labor running things around.
All right. The books are going where they need to go. Francis wanted to do something?
yeah. So I guess since Wampy doesn't seem to be too affected by the diagnosis, Francis will help out. I'm trying to see what might be a good thing. Is there anyone in need of medical attention?
Possibly.
I don't know how much that's going to help in this situation, though.
Could always prepare medical stuff because if the people are dehydrated, you could help when they get teleported here. You could provide medical attention to them because they'll be all dehydrated and probably injured.
Or maybe like prepare a triage area where we just have like a medical tent with various beds and things like that. Start setting up that. I don't know if the adults have done anything.
Well, we know someone that's injured, right? Or someone
Elrond?
that no the mage we need help from.
You mean Delterra?
Yeah. Can Kofric wants to help too? Can we arrange a way for Kofric and Francis to get to Delterra?
Yeah, if you want to have a group go visit Delterra, we can definitely arrange that. She is in her suite up at the top of one of the faculty towers. Let's everybody who's not going to be going there, we'll give you all a chance to do something, and then we'll take the group that's going to go there all at once together.
I guess I'll take Trumpy there because otherwise I don't see a role for Trumpy in this position.
Okay.
Speaking of Delterra, I was gonna send Glup off to go because he can swim. I was gonna go him off to go retrieve the psychic from the boat to help with Delterra because he can be able to contact her.
Radico. Okay, that's a good idea.
Kyleel with the like small bottle, he just like dumps some bitter roots and stuff from the kitchen into a bottle and stuff, and he wants to be giving that to Zara and be like, oh, you're doing all fine, you're good, like being sick. You just tell yourself it's all a lie. You're never actually sick. He's like going into his faith now, trying to test out his new powers and stuff, and then Elros wants to because Miss Mabel has connected with has talked to their Magra before, right? Magra's mom before, right?
Yes.
I would like to, since his potential and stuff is in his hands, he wants to hold Miss Mabel's hands and try to improvise a message by linking him and Miss Mabel together to use her as like a ping off to see if he can contact Magra's mom.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, those are all 3 of my characters.
All right. We're gonna do the Miss Mabel thing in a bit. Let's get through everybody else, and then and Glup is on the way. Is anybody else gonna go with Glup to try and get Radico?
Leica will go for that if they're not otherwise occupied. Because I want to talk to that guy.
Cool.
Or Leica does,
Leica cannot swim, so Leica will need to use the boat. Well, I guess Leica can swim, but can't swim at the rate that Glup or Araxi could swim.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Radico also can't swim at that rate, so some amount of boating is necessary in any case.
Yeah, I can get the boat set up and can get there so that he's prepared to go.
Troy, did you have any characters that want to do something other than the current plans, which are Group 1 is going to go get Radico, and Group 2 is going to go up to see if they can get Delterra up and running. Group 1 may also be on that same mission, but Group 2 will get there first.
I guess Mina will go with the people, considering if she needs to make any adjustments to the boat. And probably the more people on that boat, the better. Since it's not a small boat. How many people are going toward Delterra now?
I'm going to get a full count in a moment.
I think that was like 3 people so far. I'm just trying to think of where Crystalzar should go. If he should go with them. Or if he's better suited somewhere else. He can't really do anything else. Like, he'd be one of the like labor type people. Like he could help out in that way, but
getting Delterra's help is a 2-step problem. The first is that she's unconscious, and then the second is that any help she gives needs to be something you can understand well enough to relay to the experts.
we could just carry her to the experts, right?
That might be necessary.
Okay, Crystalzar is going to go with them.
We should bring a makeshift stretcher.
But yeah, if I can find anything that would work as that, otherwise I will attempt to carry someone. She's small, right?
She is. She's like halfling sized. She is a human, but she has a genetic growth hormone deficiency issue. So she never grew to full size, and her muscle mass never built up enough to support her own weight.
Well, Mario go. If they're going to help, she's got some minor medicine. Reggie will go because he feels useless and wants to stick with the group because he's nervous about being in the mage area.
All right then. So let's get the 2 groups up and running here. Group 1 going to get Radico. That is Glop.
Bax, I believe. Or I can't
Leica
remember.
is going to get Redico.
Oh, like
Bax is currently running around delivering books.
Leica and Mina, right?
Yeah. And then I'm assuming Trumpy's off to do the Delterra stuff. So. I think that's all my pieces on the board.
Yeah. Do you think the Crimson Guard are just standard? Do you think you could convince a couple of Crimson Guards to help row the boat?
I don't know if I can reasonably. I mean, maybe if I can convince them that they're helping us get resources to solve this eminent issue.
It's not hard to convince them that they need to solve the issue. They're already sold on that. This is an agent in the field, and their loyalty is to help their fellow soldier no matter what.
I guess the argument I would make would be that this bard is who helped us make initial contact and would be helpful in terms of, and is also connected to one of the other militant members of the group, potentially that's stranded out there, right? Like,
Callista, yeah. Okay, so
I don't know. That's the best logic I can think of.
because it's coming from a child, it will be difficulty 2 persuasion. But go ahead and roll and see if you can get some of the grown-ups to do some of the heavy lifting for you.
I'm assuming I did not recover taxes between last session and now.
The Bard Seeker, I like that name. That's a good name.
Only 2 of the kids did not recover taxes. Everyone else went to bed.
I will. In fact, actually, I'm going to say if it's Bax making the request, you only need 1 success. As Bax is also a member of the Crimson Guard.
Bax has no persuasion power, so
Oh well.
I'm gonna use Leica, and it's gonna be what, empathy or what, perception?
Empathy plus persuasion.
All right.
You got this.
I'm gonna argue my Harvin costume for this for sure. Jesus, I barely squeaked by.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, they assigned 2 other recruits who were just kind of there as escort for the older generals, and yeah, they'll run along and paddle the boat for you. Work the oars.
Nice. I'm assuming that helps us save some planning time.
Yes. Okay, who's in the team that's going up to talk to Delterra?
That'll be Trumpy, for sure.
My 2 non-disease characters.
If Nest is free, Nest would go.
I guess Kylie will go up there because he definitely has good with medicine.
I think that's kind of on Dave to decide if Nest would be free enough to go up there.
You're currently Miss Maybell is distracted, so you're unsupervised. It's on you if you think it's wise for you to go.
I feel like Nest might have the best chance of being able to explain something, and Nest really wants to see Delterra, but also Nest feels like there's a responsibility here, and is going to continue brainstorming, I think.
Okay, taking Nest off the list.
Francis will be going. For Henri, I was wondering if he might be able to do some street work to make money. Kind of just performance art sort of stuff.
It
while all the adults are distracted.
Just around the school, just try and make some money off the students.
Or just heading out into the street, since it seems like everyone's kind of distracted.
Okay, yeah, you can leave the grounds. I mean, there's a whole group that's leaving the grounds to go get on a boat.
Couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
For because my other 2 characters both have Cinder. How close are they being supervised?
So they were being fairly closely supervised until Miss Mabel was distracted.
All right. Second thing. Araxi's going to ask can soaking in water help with Cinder? And doesn't fully understand the thing, but really likes water and knows that water puts out fire.
Yeah, so the basic idea is you have to keep the person in a condition such that they won't burst into flames until they get through it. If they do burst into flames, then they'll die. So immersion in water is one of the earlier techniques that was used, and since the discovery of the cold spot, this sort of multi-block area of the city that is in perpetual winter, they've been taking people there because fires won't light. And so anybody that's standing there, the curse basically just fails to function for a while, and then they get over it.
Well, Araxi happens to really like water, so Araxi is going to go soak in water.
Okay, that is a very reasonable thing to do.
And then Wampy is going to take advantage of the fact that Wappy has Cinder and try and con a librarian to do reading for them while this happens.
Okay.
Wappy specifically is trying to figure out the logics of how Kylie called on fire, because moons, druid, and stuff. Like, this library's not the perfect spot for it, but there's definitely going to be somebody's done an academic study of the powers of the moon, and Wappy's going good, right?
Was it Kyleel or was it Elros?
Was it Elros?
No,
Sorry.
Spot fire.
Okay.
Elros.
Just making sure I got my notes right. All right.
I get those two confused. It's a weird one that those are two I confused, but those are.
Now, Tice, is Elros going to go up to Delterra's room?
Elros is going to be busy waiting for Miss Maybell.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, Wappy is going to be trying to solve Wappy's own questions. As much as they can. Before they go off to a cold spot. For a halfling, they're remarkably composed. I don't actually think that Wappy is too stressed once they finish her that there is a treatment that they're going.
Is Elros going to wait until Miss Mabel is done with the researchers, or is Elros going to try to interrupt?
Probably interrupt. Typical Elros fashion.
All right, so let's take care of that next then. So you interrupt them, and what is it you're going to ask Miss Mabel to do?
Since she has had interactions with Mangra's mom, I want her to hold her hand because I've had some weird magic happen with the what's it called, the sheriff before, where him and I blinked together because we were one person. I want to hold her hands, and since she knows who Mangra's mom is, I want to be able to improvise a message spell to be able to use her as a beacon to contact Mangra's mom.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make the roll for your improvisation. You have the improvisation skill, right?
Yeah.
Or talent, I mean, yeah. This is excellent. The researchers have Delterra's toolkit on. You can tell because their eyes are glowing gold right now. So they watch with interest as you do this.
Trying to figure what since I'm using improvise, would I be able to use my my child of Mern, or would this not be working for it for the pips?
So yeah, this kind of is. You're sort of crafting Miss Mabel into an antenna. This is on the border, but I'll allow it.
Okay, so my potential, and I don't know if I have advantage on this to use anything else, which I don't think.
No, this is not a skill you normally have the ability to do, so there's no advantage here. It's not in your wheelhouse. But you have improvisation, so you can just make the roll, and if it succeeds... Fascinating. Okay. So, Miss Maybell is in contact with Mangra's mother in real time. Good job. This causes a rush of activity as everyone around is kind of rushing in, saying, can you see things? They're asking her for details about the landscape. Where are hills? Where are mountains? Can you check stuff out the window? And Miss Mabel's telling them, this isn't a vision. It's just audio. All I've got's audio. I can hear her. That's it.
What is the name of the tavern?
That's a great question. So she relays an Apthian name. She gets the name of the tavern, and they start running, actually they send backs, I think, running down the hall to pull records of the names of various like places bards have visited, performance reports and things to see if they can find the name of that tavern and which town it's associated with.
I'm just hauling ass with these books. It's gonna be good.
You got like 4 successes on that, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so that comes back with the information, and it looks like they're starting to narrow down the spot. Good job. That gets the location right there. So it's going to take them a little bit of time to sort through all the information you've given them, but that's going to get them to know where to send the teleport. The next thing they need is a working teleport spell.
And we'll
Very,
also
very
verify
clever
that
use
it's
of that.
alive.
The mages, the researchers that were talking to her at the time, kind of pull you over and like, that is a really cool thing you did with your hands. It's like, is this a natural organic thing? And they start kind of studying you. And yeah, if you hadn't figured it out already, they basically confirmed that as a side effect of having the tangle that close to your hands, you can trick some spells into thinking that the person you're touching is the actual caster instead of you.
That's very handy.
It won't work on super big spells, and it won't work on spells that like don't have self as a target. But on any spell that's self only, you can touch somebody and it'll be you and them, or in some cases just them, like what you just did here. There's limits to it, but it's handy. Which I now get was something of a pun. Well done.
Yes!
Boo.
Yes!
Boo.
I heard you cringing. I
I
heard you
appreciated the delay.
That's really what made it sweeter for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
that's
Rav
beautiful.
turning green a couple times just to.
Yeah, it was really good.
I really wanted to just immediately boo, but David immediately picked up and started talking. I was like, okay, I can't interrupt just to boo a pun.
I saw your
boo
mic.
on that.
I saw your mic flash. I was like, "Yeah, I got her, dude." Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so meanwhile, upstairs.
In this case, can I argue that once they have the location, Nest rushes to catch up with this
Yes.
group?
Do you want to take?
Because Nest's whole thing was trying to find this location. They have it now.
They've got the location. Is Elros going to go try and catch up as well? Or are you going to bask in your victory?
Or bask in your attention from researchers.
I guess like if they're still talking to me stuff, I'll like try to see if they know more information about like the what's happened, so I can learn more to teach myself how to use this better.
Okay, yeah. The 2 distracted researchers will spend some time talking to you about like they're mostly just like, wow, that's really cool. I wonder, and one of them is like, I wonder if there's a way to modify the toolkit to have that functionality. The Delterra's toolkit was developed because Delterra doesn't have the tangle, and she needed to basically give herself an artificial version of it in order to cast and do high level magics. But what she ended up developing is significantly more precise than the tangle, and so a lot of the elves have started using it in place of tangle. And now these researchers, knowing that, are like, well, if they can replace the version of the tangle that works in the brain, maybe they can make a functional version of it that works in your hands. So that's given them something to think about, something to try developing. All of them, of course, want to have their name attached to the new version of it. It's like, I want this to be Randolph's Toolkit. It's a big deal to have your name attached to a spell.
Hey, it's my hands. I should be able to walk. You're gonna try to take this discovery from a kid?
You're like, oh yeah, you are a kid. I forgot about that. I'll write you in as a co-author.
Probably snatch your hands away from them before they finish any research they need to do.
You could always beat them to publish.
Yeah. Because they need me.
So if I've got this list right, it's Trumpy, Mari, Reggie, Kyleel, Francis, and Nest are the ones going to Delterra. Did I miss anybody?
Sorry, there was so much happening. Kofric and Chrysalis are in that too.
Wow, that is a crowd. We've got 8 kids going up there. All right. Okay, you guys, it's a long flight of stairs up, but Nest was here overnight, right?
Yes.
So Nest is exhausted, so getting up this flight of stairs is going to tax something. You can decide what. Everybody else makes it up. They had a fresh night's rest.
So I kind of, as a joke, mentioned that Nest had called a Dalton to let them grab a flask of whiskey. Can I use that for this as sort of we gotta get through this?
I feel like that would be detrimental to your
Would
ability.
it?
I think that would have the opposite effect of what you want.
Have you had alcohol?
I don't like it. I've had it a couple times, but like I feel like
Have you
at
gotten
this point,
shit? Though?
I'll tax my health for that. How about that?
Okay.
Also, have you had alcohol as a child? Like,
I was 14 when I had it. Never again.
we're like 8.
Alcohol can detrimentally affect your ability to walk horizontally. It's certainly not helping you go vertically.
It's like holding Vivian. It's like holding a chest of 1,000 grogs. It's like that.
But the blurriness
I
is also in your
for it.
brain.
I tax my health for it.
Okay.
But that's what Nest does.
Okay.
Nest is acting like an adult. Is like, well, just gotta keep going, and just feels the burn. It just charges up the steps.
All the lactic acid is just coursing through your muscles.
Yeah.
Your body's fighting you, but you make it through. It's quiet up here. The hustle and bustle of all the activity down below, particularly the excitement of the recent discoveries, is gone. You're high up in the faculty tower, and you finally get to the level that Delterra's room is at, and it's just silence here, which is why it's somewhat startling when you see that there is somebody else in the room with her. I don't know if... Oh yeah, no, Ness... Wait, who was here last time you guys were here? Well, some of you would recognize this is her brother.
Is he normal sized?
He is. He's normal sized. He's technically her stepbrother. So her mother died in childbirth, and then her father remarried. And his new wife had a son who is older than Delterra, and did not learn to cast cantrip until several years after she did, but became a very accomplished mage and is now actually the head of the... he's the dean of the alteration department. He studies alteration magic.
I feel like Nest would recognize him.
Okay.
Well, if he is the dean of the school, well, anyone that goes to school probably would recognize him then.
Yeah, you certainly
the dean of a
recognize him
department, right?
as the dean of the department, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of you were here when you came to talk to... Oh, no, I'm sorry. You didn't come all the way up here. You talked to Cam, and Cam mentioned that her brother was up here taking care of him. So, yeah, okay. Well, it's the Dean of Alterations, anyway, which you may presume from contextual information is her brother. And he appears to be cleaning her room. She is on a very large 4-post bed in the middle of the room. She appears to be entirely unconscious. It's a beautiful room. There's a window looking out over the city. It's got a fantastic view, because This rebuild of the university is kind of off to the side, but this window looks out kind of over the city center. Off to the right, you can see the big pit where the old university used to be before it teleported away. To the left, you can see the north gate and just kind of like a hint of the Troll Mountains if you really lean out. She's also got some nice private amenities. There's a magical washroom where water is created out of thin air. And she has a quite large closet with lots of identical black robes. The scene is somber. And then 8 children burst through the door, apparently.
Yeah, I was going to ask, does anybody here have a plan?
I guess Francis can go up and just say, "Hey, we're really sorry to hear about your sister. We wanted to see if there's anything we can do to help."
He sort of smiles and says, "Yeah, we all want to help as best we can. Don't know exactly what she did, but I'm sure it was important."
What's her condition right now?
As best as the physicians were able to discern, it is exhaustion. She pushed herself too hard and is just asleep.
How long has she been like that?
Arrived yesterday? Came in with someone else too, that bard that's always hanging around the library. And she was conscious when she arrived. She is the one who cast the spell that teleported her here, and that was the last thing she did before she collapsed. Took us a while to get her out of her armor, as it has about an hour's duration after she falls unconscious before it dissipates. We put a bunch of pillows on the floor under it and kind of waited it out.
All right, so I think Francis is going to try just helping in any way he can. He's just thinking like maybe like getting a wet rag or something and putting it on her forehead and just trying to kind of make her comfortable.
Yeah, make a medicine. Medicine plus, well, let's see. Are you diagnosing or are you just trying to work to make her comfy?
Not really trying to diagnose. Ultimately, it'd be great if she could wake up, but so kind of just trying to do things that he thinks would help her kind of come to consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, do a medicine plus focus. You just need 1 success to not make the situation worse. Show basic competence.
And of course, I'm wearing my Madala costume.
Oh, Madala, yeah, definitely relevant for medicine.
Is that 4 pits?
Yes.
Yes. So your roll would have to be all 1s for this to not succeed.
Don't juice it like that.
Okay, yeah, you check her temperature, make sure that like she's not too hot, not too cold. You do find that she's bundled up for cold weather, even though it's autumn, but she's indoors. But they still have her wearing essentially cold weather gear. She is not running a temperature, so yeah, you don't need to put anything cold on her forehead or anything. In fact, her temperature seems to be a little bit low, which might be why they have her all bundled up.
I've got a question for her brother.
Yep.
What's her favorite childhood food? Like her childhood favorite food?
Your mic got quiet at the
Sorry.
end there. What's
can
her
you hear me
favorite
better?
what?
Her favorite food.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you ask her brother, and it turns out there's a particular type of sweet melon that she really likes.
And is that available anywhere in the city?
I mean, this is Celebre. You go down
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
market and everything's available.
All right. I would very much like to get one of those melons, slice it open, and then just waft it over her. See if that wakes up some of those fond memories. Bring her back home emotionally.
Okay. If you want to head out, you can make a resource check, and if you get a success, then you'll have a melon back at the roughly the same time that the Radico group gets back with the bard.
I have resources 1. Wish me luck, everyone.
You can modify the result with money if you need to.
I have 5 pocket money.
There you go.
How many pips do I need to use to turn a 1 into a success? What, 4?
4.
No, 5. 4 would only...
five.
I will use all 5.
Well, you don't have to. Roll first and see how many you need.
That would be 4.
Yeah.
4. Yikes.
All right, 4 coins. 4 pocket money.
Alrighty, you're gonna come back with a melon when the bard gets back. Does anybody want to do anything while you're up there? While you're waiting?
Kyle, since he's starting to learn more about Kyle, he's going to I guess try to use his medical knowledge and stuff, and try to use the breath of Brother Jonathan to sort of see if he can help with the healing process, and it's like, does anyone have any kind of liquor or anything here? I don't know how to make acid right now, but maybe if I pour some kind of liquor, you might be able to help with this. Just splash it in their face, just clearly they're not actually exhausted. They're just faking it right now.
I think Nest has a bottle of apple whiskey.
Yeah, you can have it.
Okay.
Nest is actually, I think, has their own plan for it. This might be a really dumb.
Her brother makes to try to stop you. Is there anything you want to say to try and convince him to let you splash alcohol on his sister's face while she's unconscious?
Trust me, I don't know what I'm doing. Just like Kyle says.
Okay, make a medicine, and you have advantage, so you can add your
My divine.
Your divine to it. Yeah.
So was it cutting medicine or cutting medicine as empathy?
This would be. Yeah, because you got to control your own understanding of your lie. So that would be empathy. Yeah.
And then I have 4 pips for my costume because I'm Brother Jonathan.
Fuck yeah, it's a good roll.
5 successes.
Okay. 5 successes of progress towards this. Very good.
So Nest has a really dumb idea. Nest goes over to Deltera's brother and says, in an emergency situation, would it be possible to transfer? You say that she's exhausted. Would it be possible to magically transfer energy into her from somebody else?
He kind of sighs and says, I thought about that. I was going to
Because
try and give her my own vitality to wake her up. We've been trying to put vitality or vital energy into her to cure her condition for decades.
Yeah.
And
I'm just
it doesn't
thinking
seem to
about
take.
magical energy to allow her to maybe. So, I'm sure you're aware of the situation downstairs with the.
He nods. Yeah.
Yeah. We know where they are now. We just need to get there. And we could try and back solve Delterra's Vastic thesis. That might not be enough time. This might be our only chance, is if we could get just enough into her. We're not trying to cure a condition or anything. We're just trying to wake her up. And if you need a subject, that's like gestures to themselves. Like, it's fine.
So he says, I don't think it's an absence of magical energy that's impacting her. And the reason I say that is I once saw her when she was low on energy, and she turned a section of the street into sand to pull the energy out of the rocks that the cobblestones were made of, and used that energy to cast a spell because she was personally running low. So I don't think the amount of energy is the issue.
Could have been an overload.
I think she strained something. I think she's maybe like a pulled muscle, but on a magical scale.
Does anybody have access to the toolkit that can look at her? Obviously, he's like seeing some shit.
Yeah, he knows that how to cast her toolkit. I think
he's probably done it already.
Yeah. It's like there currently there's no magic going on her at all. So I think we are dealing with a strictly medical problem, not a magical one. And he's like, and every attempt to use magic to heal her has historically failed. Not just today, but throughout her life. We've had a lot of trouble getting magic to actually succeed in healing her. Part of the problem is that magic is sort of the design of healing magic is to restore things to their proper places. This is why it's so difficult to cure a disease. Is the proper place of a disease is to kill and rot the corpse.
Philosophically debatable, but
I mean,
in order for a disease to survive, it has to propagate. If the host is dead, it cannot propagate. So,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but magic is good at taking things to their logical conclusion. It's good at helping nature along the path that nature takes. We cheat with stuff like, fire, right? We take a pool of the aether that was going to burn a tree, and we have it burn an enemy instead of the tree. The tree is now spared, and the enemy is on fire.
Is magic naturally entropic in nature? If that's the case?
It has a singular direction of movement.
So it's, what linear, I guess?
Yeah, you could think of it like that. So
Trumpy's not here to have this conversation. I'm just totally curious.
Well, and in his current state, like, he's finding this distraction is very therapeutic. Explaining high-level, thaumaturgic theory is helping him take his mind off of just how injured his sister is.
The melon's gonna work, I'm telling you.
But there's a coherent reason that there's no heal spell in Arcane.
Yeah.
Mending exists, but it doesn't work on people.
So in this case, it would be more
sentient.
a divine magic that actually does heal.
Well,
nothing to do.
Divine magic can do anything because it just doesn't follow any rules whatsoever. Psychic magic and arcane magic both follow their own particular set of rules, and they don't really interact very well. And so, mending non-sentient stuff is well within the domain of arcane and in psychic, to be fair. But mending sentient stuff is complicated.
Well, yeah, you say it's not like the reason why magic doesn't work like that is clearly because that injuries and stuff that we have, we just believe that we are injured, but as if we don't believe we're not injured, that clearly they will go away. Grace Gael.
He's kind of snapped back to the reality that all this talk was about his sister, and so he goes silent for a little bit, thinking internal thoughts.
Tell me I have the melon.
Has anyone not had a chance to act yet?
Crystals definitely not going to do anything
Okay.
until unless there was an actual purpose post this. Kofric, I don't know if there's anything more medicinally that can be done. Like, I feel like Francis did the checks and such. I don't know if there's like. All I keep coming back to is basically like, is there anything that could induce like energy or adrenaline? Not like peak levels, obviously, but if there's anything up here that could. We identified that she's cold, so to warm her up and to like get her blood pumping, essentially, if there's anything up here that could work for that.
Mentioning the issue of her being cold, her brother says, "Yeah, she's always had a low body temperature. She needs to be kept wrapped up to stay warm." I do not claim to be a doctor or a physician, but I did study alteration for a long time trying to find a cure for her. And I think that the temperature is related to a lack of blood flow. I think that her reduced muscle mass is not pushing blood through her system as effectively as it does through everybody else. So she needs, like a lizard, she needs an external source of warmth or extra layers of clothing, which is what we've always gone with, is to just keep her bundled up as though it's winter, even when it's not.
Like a lizard or a girlfriend. always cold.
Maybe we need to do a cuddle poke.
Yeah, based on that, what I haven't like, could I identify if there's anything up here? I assume there wouldn't be, but if there is anything up here that would help with blood flow, if I could put anything together, they have magical things up here, right? Like that are generating water and food.
They do. You could heat something and put it in there. There are many things that you could potentially heat.
I mean, a water skin with hot water in it would be great.
Yeah, you could a warm bath might do it, or you could possibly try to heat some rocks and put those into the covers with her.
Sounds like a good way to light shit on fire. Even for a child, that sounds like a way to light shit on fire.
Yeah, fire and warmth kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. You know, they used to have this metal thing that they would put like coals into, or just like hot stuff, and they'd literally stick that in the bed.
Yep.
Crazy.
There was like, they were built for that though. There was like a area, right? There's like a hole in the bed that they like basically pushed that into, and it didn't actually come in contact with the bed.
Yeah, they were designed as bed heaters. Yeah.
But yes, it was like coals in a pot, and it heated it, but it didn't touch the bed and didn't light the bed on fire. I don't know that the bed is built this way.
It is not, but you could always try to improvise something.
I mean, I can try to. The goal is to give her something that would get the blood flowing, but if it's heating it up, like I'm still doing that. I guess slower.
So what is it that you are doing? Let's focus on specific tasks. What are the actions your character is taking?
So there's. I'm trying to think of the least dangerous things now. There's. I know there's water, and I can heat water, and not coals, but I can heat. The water won't be as dangerous as coals.
True.
And I can heat water, and I don't know exactly how you do this, I
I mean,
guess.
if you put
If
it
the
in a
wa-
skin, it'll act like one of those water bladders that you could put in sheets or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. So if that's available, if I can put water in something that's not gonna damage.
Okay. Part of the key, of course, is that you don't want her to get wet. Heated water near her will make her
Right.
warm, but if she gets wet, then it's going to undo that. She'll get cold again.
Exactly. It's does not transfer the water, but transfer the heat.
Do any of you have any sealable containers on your person that could contain water?
Someone's got vials, but I don't know where.
I don't think those are here.
I think they're currently in the ocean.
I mean, you just used such an item
Yeah.
as I described.
The flask is resealable.
There you go. Alrighty. So, you don't even really need to use any magic or anything to create hot water. She has a magical washroom. You just have to work out the controls to it and get some magically heated water to put into the bottle and then dry the bottle out. There's not even really a role for that. That's just a thing that you do.
Murray just says, "Can we just boil some water?"
Yeah, there isn't like a kitchen here, but you can basically turn on a magical. She's got some little they're like those little gourd shaped potion bottle things in her washroom, and they are ever full of water, and one of them is hot. So there's essentially a boiling hot source of water. Yeah. All right, so you get that little bit of warmth under her. Did anyone else not have a chance to act before we bring in this Team 2 and the melon? Okay, cool. So, meanwhile, Glup, Leica, Mina, you guys go and get the boat. You don't need to roll since you've got the two Crimson Guard rowers. So they row you out to meet with Radika. Radika, just like last time, is already out on the boat waiting for you. Like he knew you were coming.
Well, then he doesn't need to ask us any questions. He knows why we're here. Just come on the boat.
And without a word, he steps onto the boat.
Nice. It's nice working with psychics. You don't have to explain shit to them.
He does lean over and he goes, "Where are we actually going, though?"
We're going to the quote-unquote war room. We're the tactics room. We're trying to coalesce as many people who can help in this rescue mission as possible. I understand you have personally invested interest in this mission succeeding, so any way you can assist will be helpful.
Yeah, I feel your need and I want to help, but it very much looks like the images in your head are of the palace. Are we going to the palace? I don't think I'll be welcome there.
Are we going to the palace?
No, you're not.
No, we're not.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we need someone to talk to an unconscious person.
Ah.
And then Gloves gets his head filled full of like thoughts of ways of pickpocketing this guy.
Why does he think I'm thinking of the palace? I just asked him, why do you think I'm thinking of the palace?
I don't know, the room that I saw in your head looked very fancy.
Oh. I was just wondering for a second there if he had like some kind of insight into my mysterious past or something. I was like, ooh, okay, let's go.
So, no, what's kind of, you get the sense that, like, he really doesn't get off the water much. He hasn't been into town, he doesn't know where things are. He just kind of has been floating out there on the water, meditating, because he doesn't have his heroes anymore. And he understands this will potentially bring back Callista, which would be really, really good for him. So there's no need to convince him to help, but he doesn't really know where you're going. So the idea that he's this omniscient being is kind of dissolving as he kind of looks around and goes, whoa, that's the market.
Yeah, we're going to the magic school.
I think Leica, in spite of this guy's sort of like ignorance to the world, is still quite charmed by this guy. You know.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Professionally, like that's his job. It's to be a really
Yeah,
nice
but you
guy.
know, he's also helping his kids. He's also been a real nice dude. You know.
And he's good at his job.
Yeah.
Never anything like dropped a moon on anything.
He cried for his friend, and I think that's a positive quality.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is he is very open about his emotions. You've been dealing with adults with no filter that have been super frustrated. This is an adult that's very sad and concerned and is not hiding it. He's not really sad and concerned about your friends. He's sad and concerned about his, but yeah. He really wants to rescue Callista. He wants that all to work out. Alright, along the way, you guys run into Trumpy, who is carrying a prized melon. And together, you head on up the tower. You come in just as they're getting some extra bottles of boiling water situated in Delterra's bed to keep her warm. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna get right up close to her and open the melon right underneath her nose. Just make sure that first crispy slice, all those aromatics that come out of fruit when you first cut into them, just really make it a sensory experience, you know?
Radico looks at you doing this as, that is a very good idea. He's sort of looking at her, he says, her conscious mind isn't ready to talk. I can't talk to it. But you've told a story about her childhood to her subconscious. Keep telling that story. I'll see what I can do. He looks up and to her brother and says, hum a few bars of a song from her childhood, please. And he complies, and he starts repeating the sort of melody on a little... It's like a lute, kind of... what's the name of it? It's more like a mandolin, actually, is what he's playing. Lute-shaped, but more strings. All right. And together with Kyleel's tremendous healing performance, she slowly comes to. Her eyes sort of flicker open. She looks around and says, who are you?
We're the children of order.
This looks at his brother. What is going on? She is still a bit groggy. He says, thanks, kids. Hold on a moment. Let's see if we can get her upright. And he helps her to sit up in bed. He says, can you summon your armor? Are you okay? And she shakes her head. It's like, I can't. I don't have anything left for casting right now. Her brother starts to slowly explain the situation. Says, there's a woman who is, well, there's several people who are trapped um, far away in Aphthis. We've figured out where they are, I guess, right, kids? Um,
Nest steps forward. It's like, yeah, we figured that out, and we really just we're struggling to figure out a way to get there. Nest is trying to give off the aura of like I'm the representative of the mages downstairs.
says, okay. Um, is is it time sensitive? Are they in danger?
They might not make it another day.
Says, all right. Well, that's bad.
Yeah, to the point where they got rid of they took apart your robe to try to find out your thesis, as well as dig up a piece of stone from where you cast teleport to study it, or to add runes to it.
Well, that's smart. Both of those spells worked well. The stone would only send something; it wouldn't bring it back.
If we need to buy time, we could set. Can we send a physical thing with the stone, maybe?
She nods and says, "You'll have to make some adjustments. It wasn't built for that kind of range. It was only made to get me outside the city gates. So it'll need to be supercharged, but you could send supplies, I guess."
Well, they really need water, is the thing. So if we could send just tons of water, that buys us time. Buys you time as well to recover.
She nods and says, "Okay. Um, I can't really move." She said, "I've been trying to turn my legs to get off the bed since you woke me up, and they're not moving right now." Her brother kind of makes to come and carry her. She's a little like, all right, and he picks her up, and it's startling how frail she is. Um, she is smaller than some of you kids. Not the halflings though, but she's definitely in that size scale. And she's too weak to move on her own. She's talking, but she's not able to keep her head upright, and she's not able to move her arms and legs.
Can somebody get Max up here?
She says, if I could get my armor, can any of you cast? Are you casters, kids?
I can cast.
Her brother's like, what am I, chopped liver? Come on, sis. Says, but if I summon the armor, it'll summon it around me.
We. Ness like, I'll be right back, and Ness rushes down to grab Elros, was it?
Yeah.
And just yanks Elros away from the people investigating him. It's like, no time to explain. Come.
All right, Elros, do you have an idea of what they're trying to get you to do?
What if they're explaining to me when I go up there?
Nest explains on the way. It's like,
All right, so when you get up there, Delterra says, "Okay, are you the expert spellcaster for your group?"
I guess
I'll let him explain it.
I'll explain to her exactly like the last two times I've done something like with my hands.
That is very clever. Have you ever cast a third circle spell before?
No, I've never really attempted a third circle spell.
What have you attempted? Where are you in your education right now?
I'm currently at I'm at rank. I have only 2 in my thing.
Are you familiar with some of my improvisational spells?
I haven't cast them yet, but I've been studying improvisation.
Can't you just improvise one?
Yeah, to be able to contact Mangra's mom.
Says, okay, I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. When you're building a complex spell, you can make it as a complete structure the way most mages do. But if you set up the parts so that they transform each other as they go, you can make a spell out of parts of other spells, lined up so that they interact. Think of it like a line of fishermen that all get fish from the sea, but then the fish have to go on a table, and they have to have their heads cut off, and then the bones taken out, and then the fillet needs to go onto a fire. Each of these steps is something that happens to get the fish cooked. And so what we need to do is take the aether and put it through steps. And we put it through the same steps for lots of pieces so that when they line up together, they can become the larger structures that we want to build. Does that make sense?
Yes. I also have a character point, so I can also use it to enact talent.
What she's actually teaching you is a new spell to add into your spell book, which is called Delterra's Stable Meta Aether. It's a spell that you can cast that just creates a pocket of unassigned magical parts that sort of float around you for you to build spells out of to essentially give you extra dice when you're doing improvisations. And then she says, and this is the best part, is that you don't have to be the one who summons the meta aether. If your friends can summon it for you, then you can use it to cast the spell. So, the challenge here is, everybody here, if none of you have learned the spell yet, but everybody has the opportunity right now to learn it, and to then attempt to cast it. And for every successful cast, it's a first circle spell, so you only need one success. For each successful cast, Tice, Elros will get an extra die to use to try to improvise the third circle spell, Delterra's Armor.
Yeah, and what was the spell called? It was called
Delterra's Stable Meta Aether.
So am I learning it?
If you have space in your spellbook, you can inscribe it.
Oh,
I have a very important question.
Sure.
What color is the melon?
The what?
The melon.
Oh. What color do you want it to be?
I don't know. Let's go with pink on the outside, green on the inside.
Okay. We're creating canon. It's an inverse watermelon. Pink on the outside, green on the inside.
What rank is the meta aether?
First circle.
And can I cast it myself as well? Or am I the one that's going to be casting, like, the actual spell?
Since you're going to be casting the spell, you probably want to have all your dice available, so you probably don't want to tax yourself to summon a spell that may or may not give you a die, instead of just having the die.
Okay.
Is this just a magic roll, or do I add something to it in this situation?
Just a magic roll. Unless you have memorization. If you have memorization, you can memorize it and you don't have to roll.
I do have... Oh, wait, no, I don't have memorization, I have education.
Okay.
I was almost to memorization, but I don't have...
And that's the real power of
Can
this.
I tax a character point for this?
Interesting. So this is a spell, it's not a talent.
I know.
So strictly speaking,
can I
no,
cast
but
a-
you could make up something.
Can
I think they said they wanted you so they can use historic memorization.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you could tax it to your
Use
memorization.
it
Yeah.
so that I don't have to roll by taxing memorization, a character point for memorization, because I do have
Yes.
what's available.
That makes sense. Yes, you could do that, and then you're going to want to basically spend an hour memorizing it by inscribing the spell into your body as part of your essence, and then you'll be able to trigger it with no roll necessary.
I do that.
Cool.
So what do we need to be able to roll this? You need at least what, esoteric investigation?
So you would need at least the esoteric education and magical potential of 1 in one of the arcane potentials. Psychic and divine potentials would not be able to do this, as she has neither of those.
So arcane, right? Arcane works, is that what you said?
Totally.
So can you use, if you don't have esoteric education, can you use a character point toward getting it?
Yes.
And then you just roll 1 die on that, right?
Yep. If your arcane is 1, then roll your die. Yeah.
Do we have to just modify our sheets like crazy to do the character point spending? Is everybody just making notes?
If you go to that little red bird thing, if you put a 1 in there, that's where you denote that you've burned the character point, and then I just put a note what I spent it on.
Ed put a lot of very clever features into that sheet.
Got it. So you're doing a burn, and then you're just adding a note. Or adding to the note.
Right. If it's your second time, if it's your third time using it, then you get it. I have to imagine that when you cut into it, it looks kind of like a honeydew melon on the inside.
However you like it to be. It's your world, I'm just in it.
You said pink on the outside, green on the inside, so that's what I'm picturing.
I just like the stripes on the watermelon. I think watermelon stripes look cool. And I decided to give it a little yellow on the bottom, like it's, changing colors from ripening. Paint is not a great program, but it gets the job done.
Well, you could say it was actually like on the further end of ripening, so it actually gave off more scent.
So how many?
So far, just the one from the memorized one. I haven't seen anybody else roll yet.
Does Francis's magic work for that?
Yes.
That's cruel.
Chompy is very smart, but not at all magically inclined.
Francis failed.
It's a complicated concept, so not everybody's getting it on the first go.
Do we still learn it, even though we failed?
Yeah, you can still write it into your spellbook if you have pages left.
Can Delterra's brother cast this to help?
Yes, he can. And he will cast a memorized version of it.
Yeah. I was like, surely the children are not the only qualified people here, considering somebody here is a dean of the university.
All right, then. So you've got 2 bonus dice going into this roll. You need 3 successes.
Can I also give a leadership role to give him a pep
Yeah.
talk?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's like basically wraps their arm around you. It's like you've already done this today. It's just a little bit different. You got this. And those are 3. So,
All right, so yeah, 3 pips. For a split second, I thought that was the actual roll, and I was like, wait a second, how did he roll 5 dice?
Yeah, where did you even pull those dice from?
no.
So just to clear, so I got 2 bonus dice, 3 pips, and 4 from my hands. As I'm going to hold tilt Tara's hands.
Yes, so total of 7 pips. You've got 2 dice in addition to whatever your magic potential is.
Yes. If there's anything else, nope. I don't think there is.
3 successes. You hold on to her hand, and you go through the mental syllables, putting yourself into the precise sequence of emotions, and when you get to the end of the list that she's written out for, or her brother has written out for you, actually, she can't move. When you get to the end of the list, a blue glow forms around her, and she is levitated up into the air, and her armor forms. She cannot maintain the form of the armor, so you'll need to stay with her, or the armor will dissipate in an hour.
Okay.
I've shown you guys what her armor looks like, right?
I know what it looks
so.
like.
Okay.
I know you've got some art in there. Come on now. Come on.
I do. I have some art here, and it's amazing.
Like, I promise I can draw good, guys. Like, I just draw fast with a mouse, and it's very hard. Whoever did this probably had benefit of a tablet, you know?
Yeah. And a couple weeks, and it came out perfectly. I'm very pleased. Now, the armor does not ignite the sword, so there's no fire hazard right now. Yeah. And the armor itself stands about as tall as a tall person. It's like 6 feet tall, really. It's just that she's so tiny.
She's what, like 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall?
Less than that. I think she's 3'8".
Yeah, tiny.
If fully extended, and yeah, she's often not. She's more like floating in like the fetal position.
I remember her and Vale getting along really well.
Yes.
Adult Anu are her height.
Yeah. Yeah, when the triplets grow up, they'll grow up to be her height about. Tiny. Okay, yeah, so she, the armor proceeds to carry her downstairs, where she takes a look at the progress that the mages have made. And they've actually made really good progress. They've got a lot of things set up. And in the end, she only has to have them make a few tweaks and adjustments. There were some bits of her original markings that weren't kept well over time, some missing stuff, and they managed to get a care package of water teleported out and delivered. Then they start looking at the problem of actually extracting, which is a more complicated problem, but it seems like it's something that they've got under control now. And
our friends sometime. Yeah. Really, our family sometime, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody is sort of ushered out and is taken out now. Some of you are going to a hospital now that the situation is under control. So Shari, Araxi, Wampy, and Zara are going to be taken to the hospital out in the cold zone. You're given lots of warm blankets because there are no fires there. And you'll make another test tomorrow to see if you have recovered or not. And we'll keep doing those tests until everybody's recovered. And yeah, good job.
I'm guessing Elros has to stay there to make sure the armor doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, well, and Elros has to stay with her for a while, but eventually they get a chair for her to sit down in. She really just needs to talk to them. And so they get that under control so that Elros can head out.
And I want to make sure to especially with she's a demon master, so that if they it's not important right now, but a couple of the other mages were talking about making some kind of toolkit, and if they get succeeded, I want to ensure that my name is the first one on that list.
Interestingly, Delterra reached her situation of personal finance precisely because somebody violated copyright on one of her discoveries, and she was able to successfully sue them through the Rights and Properties Guild and amassed a tidy little fortune.
What you need to do is have her help you publish first.
Publish first, man. That's the way to do it.
I think you also have to design the toolkit to actually work with that.
Oh yeah, that'll be part of it.
And without him there, they're gonna have a really tough time.
Idea. That's not how it works.
Yeah, they're gonna have a really tough time without him there to model the toolkit off of, I'm sure.
In the cleanup of this, there were a couple characters that were doing some interesting things. Wampy was doing some research. I'd like Wampy to make a focus plus scholarship roll.
Brilliant. Wampy's terrible at scholarship.
The one time I could have helped.
The one time. Wampy's not allowed to touch the books because Wampy has Cinder, so can I argue that I've got a librarian to help me out?
Yes.
I don't know what that provides.
Wampy will still need to not be distracted by things and follow through to the end of the research. So it's definitely still focus. But you might not necessarily need to be scholarship. You might be able to do investigation. Can
I argue that this is focus plus persuasion?
No. You can't persuade the universe like that.
Wampy wants to try. Neither of those would help.
Wait. Wampy has solipsism.
I don't have points in it yet.
Fuck.
I haven't found a way to train it yet.
I tried to help you out, homie. I did my best.
I would have said that it counts as advantage if you wanted to use that, but yeah, that's okay.
I don't have points in it yet, unfortunately. And that was unsuccessful.
Question is, do you need points in it? That's what it is.
It remains mysterious, but no free tips from me. Zero successes, so Elros burst into flames, but didn't have Cinder, and that's what you know. All right, let's see. Just making sure I've got everybody checked off. Mari was up there with you guys, did the good things with the hot water bottles. Did Reggie accomplish what Reggie wanted to accomplish?
Reggie wasn't sure what he wanted to accomplish, and in that regard, he accomplished everything.
Awesome.
Maybe what Reggie can do
Nice.
next time is use some kind of what's the word? Bureaucratic resources to try and expedite the rescue mission or something like that, or
Yeah.
expedite resources or get more resources.
I mean, his main thing right now is going into the Mage Academy and not coming out like a frog or something. So
I think he
Good
succeeded.
accomplishment.
Hey, a couple of the kids take offense to that.
I mean, they shouldn't go into the Mage Academy.
Are
They
you
were born
implying
that
that the Anu were humans until they went to the Mage Academy?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking questions, right? Like,
You made it sound like being turned into a frog was a bad thing.
God, Reggie has got such a punchable fucking face.
I mean, Anu would take massive offense at being called a frog. So
Yeah, frogs are tiny. It'd be like a person being called a monkey, right? So,
Anu are generally vegetarian. I mean, their archers do boil frogs for poison.
where is... Oh, yes,
Araxi-
Andre.
If you said that out loud, Araxi would try to figure out a way to give you Cinder.
Reggie did spend enough time in the University Library that any of the talents or skills that are trained there are available today, if Reggie so wishes. It does include things like bullshit artist, so just, yeah. Okay, and then Andre was running a money-making scheme?
Yeah, he's kind of basically busking, so like doing his little coin tricks, got a little cup out trying to get donations from passersby.
Okay, make a performance plus empathy, and you'll get pocket change, or potentially, if you roll high enough, coins. Maybe at 6 successes, even a precious gem.
Ooh. Definitely not going to go that high, but all right, cool.
3, 4, 5, it's a coin. 1 and 2, it's pocket change. 6 and higher, it's a gem.
Would you say that his Moon King costume adds any points just for extra flair?
Don't argue that. I'm gonna advise against that because the Moon King is strange and uncomfortable to gaze upon.
Yeah, you're more likely to turn people off with that.
Yeah, good point. Okay, I'll hold off on that.
The Moon King's kind of like an eldritch horror. Like seeing him will disrupt something in you. Ooh.
Is that right? Do we know what the Moon King looks like?
So you did wear the Moon King outfit, and
That's what happens.
Henri just gives off Moon King vibe.
But yeah, Reginald is the one that has links to the what's it called, the rights and properties guild.
Yes. Reggie would be very helpful for you in copywriting that spell if you can figure it out.
Okay. So we could put initial like notes in right now, being like we're starting to invest into a spell or whatever, just so that we have notes of us being the first ones to do it.
Okay, I've been through my list twice. I think I got everybody for all the little side things you guys were doing.
yeah, all I was doing with Leica was bringing the bard into the fold of the planning situation. As far as Bax goes, Bax is running around books.
That's right. So, so Lyca's had another experience with the bard. The bard says, "You're welcome to come visit me on my raft. I do prefer to stay a little bit away from people when I'm meditating and sleeping. No offense, I do like people, but it is often hard to have quiet when there's so many people thinking around me."
I don't know if Araxi gets anything for just vibing in some water for the day.
Probably gets very comfortable.
Yeah.
Araxi just was like, "You all do your adventure. I'm gonna go have a spa day."
Yeah. I'm going to a really awful place. I'm going to at least enjoy myself when I go there.
Yeah, because you'll definitely need extra clothes because when Glup went in there, he was gonna
So, Araxi, you have demonstrated a very excellent point, which is that the Anu do not necessarily need to go to the cold zone if you stay in water. So, if you made a little hut in the ocean, and
Oh
just
yeah,
stayed there.
I swing by the docks. I grab Lordpin. I'm like, "Hey, Lordpin. So I was diagnosed at the center today. And they said that it's fine if I just go make a hut under the water. So you want to come build a hut with me today?"
When you say you have Cinder, Lorpin kind of shifts some of the ropes and rigging away from you a little bit, and then it's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, all right, wait, make it. Let's stay clear of the main docks because it gets kind of messy down there. There isn't like industrial pollution going on, but like the ships are not.
It's not the most pleasant water to swim in.
No. The ships
Like Long
do have
Beach.
the ships do have waste, and they do dump it. So, yeah. But yeah, he helps you find a place a little off on the side where the water's cleaner. It's closer to where the rivers come through, and yeah, you'll have your place so that you don't have to be in the cold. You have an alternative. You will be in Lorpin's care for that time because they can't have you coming out on dry land as you might burst into flames.
Right.
Or on top of the water and burst into flames.
Yeah, basically complete submersion. It's either complete submersion or the cold zone. Those are the two options.
Complete submersion, way more comfortable for Araxi. For everybody else, probably not.
Lethal for most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Turns
Mina
out we
can-
can't breathe through our skin like you, so I don't actually know if Anu breathe through their skin or through gills.
Anu, I believe it's through the skin. I think. I'm pretty sure it's through the skin.
Yeah.
I think Mina and like one other, can attest to not being surrounded by water as a preference.
Right.
Shari could join you, but Shari is not. Oh no, yeah, Shari is on my list. So yeah, Shari has a choice.
I mean, she has Cinder right now, so.
So you could live underwater instead. That's
Yeah.
your choice. Cold spot or underwater.
Because Shari has gills, right?
Oh yeah, sure, I can do underwater. That's fine.
Okay. So if Shari would like to join Araxi, you guys can be underwater buddies for as long as it takes to get the cinder out of your system.
Yep, sure.
And then Wampy and Zara will be in the cold spot. There's a hospital in the center of the district that is affected by the cold. And, yeah, you just got warm blankets and meeting spaces where your family can come by and stay at a safe distance so that in case you do burst into flames for some reason. But flames don't happen in the cold spot, so it's not really a worry. All right, and I think that brings this evening to a close.
It's the birth of a sitcom. Sorry, Shari and Araxi is the birth of a sitcom.
An Anu and an aquatic elf. Yeah.
It's called Two
Or-
Roommates in a Hut.
More so their personalities. Because I believe Araxi is
It's the odd aquatic couple.
crazy.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's what yeah, thank you.
Boo.
I was looking for it. But it's so good. One's kooky and crazy, and the other one's actually they're both kooky and crazy, I guess.
When
But just
Orphanage
in
is there,
very
it's,
different way.
Yeah, but in a very different way.
When the other guy's there, it's 2.5 fins.
Thank you for
Physical
voicing
pain.
what I felt.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, when it hurts to breathe. Ouch.
Alrighty. Well, ran a little late tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
See you next week.